What's good, sports fans? Are you ready to elevate your live entertainment experience? Well, let me introduce you to SeatGeek, an amazing platform that connects you to your favorite events while saving you money. With SeatGeek, you can easily find tickets for sports games, concerts, and so much more, all in one place. The interface is user-friendly, making it simple to browse and compare prices. And one of the best features is the interactive seating chart. You can see exactly where you'll be sitting and how much you'll be spending, ensuring you get the best value for your money. But here's the best part. Check this out. By using my promo code, ChalkItUpSports, you can enjoy a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. That's right, $20 off your first SeatGeek order. Imagine catching that thrilling game or concert without breaking the bank. It's a win-win situation. Plus, you'll be a part of a community of fans who eat, sleep, and breathe live events just as much as you do. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to download the SeatGeek app today. And don't forget to use my promo code ChalkItUpSports for a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. Get excited. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah. What's good? This is your boy, Tone DeShields the second. You guys are locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game, man. I really do appreciate the love. I really do appreciate the support. You guys have been phenomenal, man. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channels. Follow your boy on TikTok and Instagram, chalkitup_sports. Make sure you guys are hitting that hype button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you got the notification bell on. I know I'm giving you guys a laundry list of things to worry about, but trust me, makes my life and your life that much easier. You feel what I'm saying? So make sure you guys, again, stay active, man. We got a lot to talk about. The Philadelphia Eagles managed to escape with a narrow 10-7 victory at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Man, tough game, right? And I know a lot of you are probably, how can I put this, expecting me to go off, especially on the offensive output, right? You know, I watched the game like you, and before the stream started, I even was reading some of your comments, right? I was reading some of your comments just to check the temperature of all you guys, right? Sometimes I like to just see what y'all talking about before I come on here. And a lot of you guys are very frustrated with Kevin Patullo, very frustrated with the overall offensive output. And I get it, especially when the early part of the season has been littered with games like this, right? I totally understand frustration. The frustration is understandable. But let me tell you guys this, man. And I'm going to be totally real with y'all. Y'all know me, I give it up. I really didn't have the biggest problem with the play calling tonight. I really didn't. I didn't have the biggest problem with the play calling. We saw Jalen under center a lot. We saw them using play action. We saw them using RPOs. They didn't do anything that much different from what they did in the Vikings and the Giants game. Obviously, they connected on more explosives. But the Packers actually have a good defense. I think it's reasonable to say the Packers may have been the best defense the Eagles faced all year. I think the Broncos may be up there, right? But Yo, Green Bay played their ass off on defense, just how the Eagles play their ass off on defense. Again, I know it's easy to chalk up your concerns to what we saw in the early parts of the season. I get it. The first part of the season, they started off slow. They was herky-jerky, inconsistent halves and inconsistent games. I totally get it, right? I totally get it. But coming off the games we saw them against the Vikings and against the Giants, and then they went up against one of the best defenses in football, because that's what the Packers have been. That's just the reality. They're stingy in the run game. They're stingy in the passing game. They're stingy. They don't give up explosives. So it's really not a surprise that the Eagles really couldn't take advantage of every explosive opportunity. Granted, they didn't have many, but neither did the Packers either. I mean, both. Again, this was one of those games. That was a knuckle dragger. One of those games that forces you to dig deep. One of those games you got to be patient with, not just as a consumer, but also with the player. Again, I'm viewing this a little bit different than most of y'all. I am. I know some people say, yo, Tone, this offense is going to be a liability. For me, my takeaway was, yo, this defense, they approach it. They're approaching it. They get in there. This defense was looked phenomenal today. They looked phenomenal. And there's going to be games on the resume like this. There's not a single season where a Super Bowl champion doesn't have that knuckle dragger game. The question is, can you be the victor and not be the loser? You know, I had problems with some of Nick Sirianni's situational play calling, right? Why didn't you just punt the ball to end the game, right? Just punt the ball. Or there was another play where he kind of threw me off with the decision making. But I didn't have the biggest problem with the play calling. I had a problem with the lackluster offensive line play. We had penalties all throughout the offensive line. To be honest with you, the Eagles had 7 penalties for 61 yards. A lot of them came on the offensive line. Also, don't forget the pass interference on Jihaad Campbell, setting up the Josh Jacobs touchdown. Right? I get it. Y'all want the Eagles to light it up on any and everybody, and I wanted them to light it up too, because I think the Packers are overrated, and I still do think they're overrated. But sometimes there's going to be games on the docket like this one, and you just got to win it. I spoke about this earlier in the week. I said, listen, these games with these big teams, Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago is in the mix because they're in the playoffs and they're winning games. Who else coming up on the schedule? Shoot. Who else is coming up on the schedule? Chargers. Right? Like, you have teams that, hey, it may not be a gun show. It may not be a gun show. And honestly, I would much rather win a game like this than win a gun show. You want to know why? Because at the very least, I know my defense is doing their job. And I know because my offense is talented enough, all it takes is just that one moment, that one play. And look, this game was won on 2 plays. Hurts finding Saquon on the check down, Saquon taking the 41 yards. Hurts finding Smitty for the 36-yard touchdown. Again, I totally understand the concerns. I was watching the game and I was like, damn, like, yo, why aren't we pushing the ball down the field more? Hey, why isn't A.J. Brown involved? What's going on, right? Why isn't A.J. Brown involved? And I'm not excusing it. I'm not excusing it, but I just understand that sometimes you're going to have games like this one. These are two teams that people expect to be there in the end. Green Bay is a team that people think is going to be one of the final four teams in the conference, maybe in the league. Like, Green Bay, as much trash as I talk about them, they're a good team. They're a good team. I think they're a little overrated, but they're a good team. And sometimes it be like this. But I won't excuse some of the timely decision making by Nick Sirianni. That fourth down play call, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. I did not understand it. Like, these are because listen, think about it, y'all. Once the playoffs start, because we're going to be in the playoffs. And trust me, there's no team that feels comfortable coming to the link or playing the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm telling you this right now. This Eagles team, if they get that bye, I'm telling you, they're going back to the Super Bowl. They're going back to the Super Bowl if they get that bye. And look, I know y'all see Detroit run the score up on people, right? Y'all see Detroit put up all these points on. Who they put up points on this past week? Washington. You see Detroit put up all these points on Washington, right? You see Detroit put up all these points on bad teams, lackluster teams. You see it. They put up 44 on Washington. They put up 37 on the Bengals, 34 on the Browns, 38 on the Ravens, 52 on the Bears. But I'm telling you, when they come to Philly, that shit is not going to pop off. I'm telling you this. Because what happens is teams got to match your energy. I'm not making excuses for not AJ. I don't understand how AJ is not getting involved in this offense this year. I don't understand. I don't understand how it's so difficult to get AJ Brown going. I don't get it. I got to watch the film back to see what was going on. But, yo, I'm not mad at this game. I can't meet y'all there. Granted, was I watching the game and I was like, oh, come on. I was a little edgy. But I wasn't, not once did I feel angry at the play calling because I saw play action. We saw RPOs. We saw them try to get the running game involved. You saw it. You saw this team committing themselves to their identity. You saw it. This was a team that committed themselves to their identity. Running the ball, the play action, under center. You know what I mean? Like, it be like that sometimes. But guess what? People want to forget this too. I know Saquon Barkley went off last year, but the Eagles were a defensive team last year. Don't get it twisted. They were a defensive team last year. And the Eagles didn't blow many teams out last year either. Like, when the Eagles had that knuckle dragger game against the Baltimore Ravens, did we jump ship? Yeah, remember that game? That game was tough. It was close. It was ugly. I mean, it wasn't as ugly as this one. But you catch my drift. Eagles was down double digits, I think, or 2 possessions. All I'm trying to say is when you really look back on a season, there's going to be a game or two where you just thugged it out with a team. You thugged it out. It was y'all two in the phone booth and only one of y'all left. So I'm not ready to look at this team and lose my mind over this 10-7 victory over a good Green Bay Packers team. A good Green Bay Packers team that has a really good defense. You saw how fast they was flying to the rock. And that's why y'all can, and this is why, shout out to my man RJ. And this is why a lot of you feel the way you feel about this game. This is why a lot of y'all feel the way I feel about this game, because of this right here. There were too many games on the season that made you feel like this. But actually, in my humble opinion, this felt different. Even though the Eagles were slow on offense, I still felt like they were in control of this game from beginning to end. I don't know if y'all feel that way, because that's the difference to me in some of those previous games. Some certain moments you didn't feel like the Eagles were in control. You didn't feel like they were in control. Even though this game was close and ugly, I still felt like they were in control of this thing. I never quite felt like Green Bay ever figured out our defense. They had their moments, right? They moved the ball here and there. They had their moments. But I felt like there wasn't a point where Jordan Love quite figured out our defense. And that's why I look at Jordan Love as a guy who's overrated. I'm like, yo, the Eagles always force him to play his worst ball. The Eagles always force him to play some of his worst ball. That's a fact. And by the way, even though Saquon didn't get going in the run game like that, his longest run of the day was 15 yards. He had some 4, 5, 6 yards sprinkled in there. He also had 41 yards in the air. 41 yards in the air. So Saquon had over 100 yards from scrimmage and a touchdown. You know what I mean? And also, let me get to the super chat real quick. 24 Birds with the $5 super chat. Thank you, 24 Birds. He says, is it just me or does Mailata get out of sync every time Lane Johnson gets hurt? Hey, man, chemistry is a real thing, but Mailata did not have a good night at all. He did not have a good night. Shar with the super chat. Thank you for the $9.99, bro. He said that motherfucker was punting on third down. A draw to Shipley, and you have an all-pro and Pro Bowl receiver. Nah, I want his fade. Okay, there we go. All right. Shout out to Shar. I knew there were some things I did forget. There were certain things I had a problem with, right? Like, for example, like some of those cowards draws on third down was weird to me. I didn't understand some of those passive moments. That was weird to me. I will say that. I will give y'all that. There were certain moments where I was like, we being too conservative. I will give y'all that. There was moments where I felt we were a bit too conservative in key spots. But again, I felt like this was one of those games where the quarterback that made the least amount of mistakes won. And that's what happened. Jalen Hurts made less mistakes than Jordan Love. Jalen Hurts made more plays than Jordan Love. The Eagles defense made more plays. Yo, let's give a shout out to Jalen freaking Phillips. Jalen Phillips, worth every draft pick. Jalen Phillips, remarkable pickup by Howie. Let me look at these numbers real quick. Jalen Phillips in this game. Jalen Phillips had 6 total tackles, 4 solo, a TFL, and 2 quarterback hits. There was a play where Jalen Phillips was being blocked in the run game by the right tackle. And he swung that right tackle. He got off that block so quick, and he got right up in Josh Jacobs' grill. Jalen Phillips was in on 2 turnovers. In on 2 of them. I'm trying to see who sacked Jordan Love and caused the fumble. The first one. Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean sacked Jordan Love. Nakobe Dean came. Nakobe Dean had a game too, by the way. Nakobe Dean had a game as well. Nakobe Dean flew in. Jordan Love called himself trying to make a play. And, Jalen Phillips recovers the fumble. Jalen Phillips. Sure, offense didn't have their best day. I'll concede that offense wasn't that explosive. But hey, winning and consistency ain't always pretty. You got to win these tough games, y'all. I'm trying to reinstill that feeling. I'm trying to reinstill that confidence. I'm telling y'all, when it comes to some of these games against these teams, Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago, it's the conference ones, the ones, the NFC games, the NFC games. You guys got to understand this, right? We're fighting for a bigger prize here. We're not just fighting for style points. We're not just trying to get style points, y'all. Again, this game was a little frustrating offensively. I will give you that. I'm not going to concede. I'm going to concede that. But I'm going to be honest. I was watching the game and I was saying to myself, even though there were moments where it was too conservative, I never felt like they were out of control. I never felt like they lost control of this game. I felt like defense was dictating the action all day long. And the Eagles offense started off slow, just like Green Bay did. Both of those defense played their asses off in the first half. And the first defense to leak oil was Green Bay. And I am a believer that when you go up against these top-notch teams, I don't care what the stats say, you got to win it. Against those, that's my perspective. Now, when you go up against these bad teams, you got to run down on them. You got to run down on them when you go up against bad teams. But going up against a team like Green Bay that has a good defense, you're winning on the road in Lambeau? 10-degree weather? Come on, man. Your defense showed out, forced 2 turnovers. It be like that sometimes. Eagles won the Super Bowl last year because of their defense. Let's call it what it is. They won the Super Bowl. They did what they did because of defense last year. And Jalen Phillips, remarkable pickup. Nicole Dean had a game. Whoa, hold on. What's this? Anyway. So, nonetheless, let me bring in my man, Coach Marcus Thomas from Pro Fan Talk. Y'all done heard me pontificate over and over. I got a from Justin Long. He says 2 words, Jalen Phillips. He is special, Tone. No, yeah, Jalen Phillips can ball, man. Jalen Phillips can definitely ball. All right, let's see here. Let's see here.
Tone, I think I did that. I don't know how I did it.
Yeah, I was trying to find out what happened.
I think I did that.
Man. How you feeling about this game, man? How you feeling about this game?
This is what I said at the end of the game. I was like, defense, y'all go ahead, get in the van. Y'all go ahead on home, shower up. There's some snacks in the fridge. Y'all go ahead on downstairs. I turn the heat on. Watch a couple movies. It's some snacks and some steaks and stuff and pizza downstairs. Make yourself comfortable. And we'll holler at y'all tomorrow. Offense, y'all get back on that damn field. Y'all got laps to run. That was I was so conflicted, bro, because I was like, I don't know. How can you only have 2 targets to AJ? 2?
Yes, unacceptable.
Yeah, the only reason he got 3 is because you threw that bullshit at the end of the game. And what was that?
What was the point?
Nick Sirianni, what were you doing? You just gave them great position. Why didn't you just pooch kick it? Try to get the ball inside the 20.
Yeah.
Because that would have taken a little bit more time off the clock, and they would have had to go 80 yards.
With no timeouts.
What were you doing?
I agree. Like there were a handful of plays, a handful of moments in the game where I was like, what's going on here?
Bro, we got lucky.
What's the decision making in this moment right here? Well, I'm talking about just from a situational standpoint, right?
Tone, I agree with you 100%, man. We got lucky again. Just like that Dallas game, we got lucky, except this time they had a bunch of soup cans and second stringers that couldn't catch the ball. They dropped 3 or 4 balls that should have been caught.
Yeah, there was a drive where Jordan Love hit 2 guys in their hands.
In their chest.
And they just flat out dropped it.
So we got lucky in that regard. The penalties kind of evened out, but at the end of the day, the defense is paying their half of the rent. The offense, we cannot, in good conscience, think we are going to make a deep run in the playoffs with our offense looking like that. We cannot do that because eventually we're going to wear the defense out. They can't stop everybody. all the time. It's not going to happen that way. The offense has got to do their part. And for whatever reason, they still don't want to run the ball outside. They still trying to go inside the tackles. That's not working.
Mm-hmm.
They still try to throw that out that almost got picked off again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people are looking for it. Just go ahead and run the out and up from the rip.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't wait to watch this film tomorrow. Is Jalen missing people? Well, did they have AJ covered like that the whole game? Like, is it really Kevin Patullo? Because there is no way you can cover up. The criticism is valid this week, bro.
No, I understand it. I get it. I get it. I get it.
They get what they get.
I just see it a little differently, but I get it. When people criticize, I get it. I'm not even telling people not to feel how they feeling, right? I know you heard me spiel on my spiel a little bit before you came on, but I'm not stopping people from criticizing what they saw offensively. I get it. I totally get it. Especially when Green Bay gave you opportunities.
Gave you opportunities.
I get it.
And I'm looking at it from the standpoint of we are not going to run that offense and beat the Lions. We might not even beat the Bears running that offense. You know what? We couldn't have beat the Browns with that damn offense. Dylan Gabriel had a better game than damn Jalen Hurts. We cannot expect, because this is all about expectations. We cannot expect to make a decent run in the playoffs with our offense looking like this. We cannot. And I don't know what needs to change. I'm like, is it Patullo? Is it Jalen Hurts? Is it Sirianni? Is it a mixture of the three? I have no idea what it is, but they better figure it out, because we can't keep going back and forth. Ain't no way.
I look again. I understand everybody's criticism. I think it's valid. I'm also choosing to look at it from another angle as well. Not eliminating your angle or anybody else's angle, but I'm just adding an additional angle to the view, an additional way to an additional perspective, so to speak. And I'm under the impression a game like this, and I really think the reason this game is ringing so much for people is because of how the season has been going for the most part.
Right.
Because if you were in a game like that, because if you've been explosive and functional all year long, but you have a game like this, people don't care. People just say, okay, you won. Ooh, it happens, right? But because they've been inconsistent, that's the best word I can come up with right now. Because they've been inconsistent for the most part all year long, outside of 2 games against the Vikings and the Giants, outside of those 2 games, they've been very up and down, very inconsistent, strong halves and strong series, so on and so forth. So everyone's criticism, absolutely valid, absolutely warranted, totally get it. I also felt like this is one of those games where both defenses was balling out of control.
Yeah, they were.
I understand criticizing the offense, but we saw a lot of under center. We saw play action. We saw RPOs. We saw them trying to add the things or do the things that they've been doing the past few weeks. But both of those defenses, they
balled out.
They were balling out of control. That Green Bay defense is for real. They were flying to the ball. There was certain moments where they had like a safety, or Quay Walker he was like a homing missile.
The run blitz were phenomenal.
They got this dude Evans in the secondary. He's good. You know what I'm saying? Kaysai Nixon is a better corner this year than he was last year. All those guys got better. They've been developing these guys. These are young. They're still the youngest team in football. You know what I'm saying? So again, the offense for the Eagles deserves all your criticism. But again, I'm choosing to look at this a slightly different way, because the Eagles the past 2 games put up some pretty explosive offense, and I'm of the mindset where I want to believe that, hey, I think they're that's more so who they are than versus what we saw today in other games. But the reality is the ledger says they're more of this than those past 2 games.
I mean, yeah, I guess I'm looking at the long term. And what you are saying is not wrong. The problem is I got to wait till next week to see. Because if they play like this again next week, now we back to square one. Because now we back to, well, what's wrong with the offense? What's wrong with the passing? What's wrong? And you cannot deny that those are legit questions. So I don't want to hear shit about I didn't like what AJ tweeted. I don't, because you know what's coming. And guess what?
Well, you and I always knew what everything AJ was saying was valid.
Valid. Now there is no rebuttal. There is no rebuttal for Kevin Patullo. There is no rebuttal for Nick Sirianni taking a deep shot on 4th down when we can try to kick, make him go 80 yards in 22 seconds.
Yeah.
And he does something. There's no excuse for that. So again, with the whole Kevin Patullo thing, I got to watch the tape, but I just don't. It just seems like he had no answers. None. I know the defense plays well, but I don't know. Maybe it's me. I'm stuck on the thing where I know this is a copycat league, and I keep seeing teams. How come every other team can pitch their running back outside? Mm-hmm. How can every other team find a way to get their number 1 receiver the ball, even when everybody knows he's getting the ball? How come everybody else can do that but us? Mm-hmm. That is the stuff that's going to end up killing us, either trying to get to or in the playoffs. And that's the stuff we got to get right. That's what's frustrating to me. I don't want to beast on bad teams, because that means we get lucky. We got to wait for them to drop passes. We got to wait for the defense to score. We can't win it can't be like that, man. It's got to be all 3 phases. Our special teams was trash tonight.
Did you feel like Ringo then it wasn't good, and what's the dude Gibson got away with murder?
Yes, he did
on that touchback.
Yep,
Gibson got away because that ball should have been on the 1, but he's lucky that the
dude stepped on the line and didn't
get.
He would have needed to take 1 or 2 steps inbounds, but he didn't.
He's lucky.
We got
away. He got away with one because I wouldn't have touched that ball. But
yeah, by inch.
He got away with it. Look, I mean, you're right. You want your offense to be way more effective, especially when you go up against these good teams. You want to be more effective. I have no rebuttal. You know what I mean? Like the concerns for the Eagles, based on what you're saying, what the chat is saying, I get it.
Is our offense decent? Are they decent? You never know what you're gonna get. I look at the game going into the Lions, right? Mm-hmm. Both of our defenses are solid for the Lions.
Mm-hmm. I think our defense is a little better, but nonetheless.
I would agree, but the Lions defense ain't chopped liver.
Mm-mm.
And they have a competent, and I want to use that word. They have a competent offense. Jahmyr Gibbs is running all over the place.
Very good offense.
Jared Goff is going to get the ball out of his hands to Amon St. Brown.
Let me ask you a question, because I'm glad you brought up the Lions. Do you believe in okay, so Green Bay, we know they've been putting up points this year, all that kind of stuff. They've been playing well for the most part outside of those, eggs they laid against Cleveland and Carolina, right? And obviously they put up a lot of points against Dallas, but it was a tie. But they've been a team that's been pretty effective on offense. But then they meet the Eagles, and all of a sudden they have probably their worst offensive output of the season.
Yeah.
Detroit, a team that's been putting up numbers on bad defenses, by the way. Bad defenses. And every time they went up against a competent one, that score is cut in half. Right? They could put up 40 and 36 on these bad defenses. They play a good one or a competent one. Now they're scoring in the 20, the 20 range, the teens, things of that nature, right? So I guess what I'm trying to ask you is, do you believe, and I'm trying to word this question properly, do you believe in energies matching? Do you believe in the Eagles being able to dictate the pace of a game? Basically what I'm trying to say is, do you believe the Eagles, although they're struggling offensively, do you think they're capable of pulling a team like the Lions to the deep end in a game like this that we just got finished watching?
Based on what I just saw today, no. No. The big guy in the sky don't lie. Based on what I saw today, because that, again, but to your point, the energies would match on defense. We're going to smack them around. They're going to smack us around. We both got good defenses. Yes, I agree with you. I think our defense is better, especially the way they played today. But when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, we still can get gutted a little bit with a good running game. Now, granted, our run defense was a hell of a lot better today.
Was it Jalen Phillips? Did you see him shed that block?
Yo,
and get the TFL?
Jalen Phillips was paying dividends immediately.
He was in on everything.
Everything. His exchange rate went through the roof. That was Howie. Golf clap, bro. Good get. Because that man is not here for no foolishness.
Yeah, that was nuts, man.
Jalen Carter, 2 pass breakups. What? Nolan Smith with a sack. Jalen Hunt with a sack. The defensive line owned the trenches. Owned the trenches.
They did.
Jacob still had a decent game running the ball. 21 carries for 74 yards.
He only averaged 3.5 yards a carry.
3.5, but collectively, they did what they had to do. But the defense played stellar today, in my opinion.
Yeah,
they played stellar. If it wasn't for that one call on Jihaad Campbell, but that just goes. You've heard me say that before. Linebackers can run, but they cannot cover.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you had the Lane Johnson injury. He came back for the final drive.
He came back. I was so happy to see him.
Yeah, he came back for the final drive. Lane Johnson goes down. Quinyon tweaked something again. But
he tweaked something. Brett Toth struggled a little bit.
Did he?
Struggled a little bit.
I don't think the offensive line played their best game. I think Jordan Mailata was skittish all night.
Bro, what the hell?
He was skittish all night.
I don't know what was his issue, bro. I don't know what his issue was.
He was skittish. Them false starts.
Yeah. I didn't. We just, I don't know, man. I was so disappointed with our offense today. I know we got the win, and they finally put it together in the fourth quarter, but why do we have to wait to the damn fourth quarter? Like, we can't. I keep saying the same thing. We cannot do that and expect to keep winning, because eventually it's going to break, and you don't want it to break at the wrong time.
Yeah, and I think that's why some of these trades happen, right? At least defensively. I think
defensively we're good.
I think the Eagles once again are a defensive-led team.
Yeah.
Even though Saquon did what he did last year, they were defensively led. I think
our defense was that good. Our defense was so good we didn't have to blitz one time in the Super Bowl.
I think their defense
got how many sacks?
Yeah. Yeah, tonight they had 3 sacks. Kobe Dean got a sack. Nolan Smith came back with a sack, and Jalen Hunt got a sack as well.
Yep.
So a lot of your young guys paying dividends. Guys you drafted are paying dividends. Nolan Smith came back, first game back, sack. Jalen Hunt sack, who's on a tear right now.
So we had 3 sacks.
We had 3 sacks. We could have had we could have had more, honestly.
Two pass breakups. And 3 tackle for losses, all by the defensive line.
Yeah, the D line had a few pass breakers. You're right. Yeah, you're right. They dictated the action.
All by the defensive line. Again, the defense is paying their half of the rent.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell Jalen and this offense has got to do. I don't know what the logic is. I don't know what the scheme is. I don't know why are we running 3rd and 8 and we running comeback routes.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
We need to be slant and skinny slant going forward, past the sticks.
Yeah.
So,
I definitely need to watch. I want to watch this game back because I feel like, with this whole ESPN YouTube TV thing is kind of messing me up. I had to watch the game on NFL Plus on my phone. I was a little pissed off about that. But so it kind of makes it a little difficult to catch everything. But again, I understand the concerns. They're legitimate. They're legitimate. But let me ask you this question. What's more like for a team that's struggling, right?
Yeah.
If you had a team like the Eagles, if they were struggling defensively, but getting in shootouts, I feel like, to me, just me, I would be more concerned about my season if that was the case versus them having a top-notch defense and, they're struggling a bit on offense, because offense can spark like that.
Yeah.
And offense can get hot. And because this team is so talented, so good, we've seen them play at the highest level. Again, I'm very optimistic about this. I see them as a team that, although they're struggling offensively, they can get it cracking or they're going to be able to get it cracking when the playoffs start. I believe that. And again, it's wishful thinking. I have no data to substantiate that from this season because they've been inconsistent. But because they're so talented, because I trust that quarterback, and I just think that this defense is going to be so good by the time the playoffs start. I think this is this new Jalen Phillips edition is going to pay dividends. Like he made an impact from snap one. You saw the difference in how guys were able to get to the quarterback. You saw the difference in a guy who knows how to get off his blocks, knows how to have gap discipline as well. Like, I don't know. I think I'm just more optimistic. And here's another thing, for the people. I've been a guy that's been very critical. I've been critical, man. Like everything post week 4, week 5, I've been critical of this team. The first few weeks we were trying to be a little measured about it.
Yeah.
Post week 4, me and you just started. Matter of fact, after that first loss, me and you just started like, it is what it is. So I'm not above crucifying this team. I've done it. But this game just gave me a different feeling than those previous games, in my humble opinion. And I think it's because of the quality of the opponent. Because again, although you did not dominate the game, you won it. So now you got a victory over the Rams. You got a victory over the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
And now you got a victory over the Packers. Those are 3 of the 5 teams that people believe are going to be there in the end,
right,
in the playoffs. And you own the tiebreaker over 3 of them.
Yeah, and I know I'm coming off a little emotional because the game just happened.
I get it,
but
normally I'm the emotional one, so I'm not even. I'm letting you cook.
I was like, I can deal with penalties, things like that, but schematically and logically, this was probably the worst game our coaches have had, in my opinion. Our offensive coaches have had. So I don't know. I don't know what Sirianni. I don't know what they're gonna have in meetings.
How did you feel about their first drive? I liked the game plan.
It was great until the fumble, and
they were clearly trying to get the ground game. Like,
you know what? I can't really. I'm not going. Jalen got to hold on to the ball, but that was a perfect.
That was a
hit by Green Bay. That was perfect.
Yeah, that was a Cooper.
Yeah, the peanut punch, all of it. He did it perfectly.
Perfect.
Usually it's us doing it.
Because honestly, I think Eagles scored a touchdown in the opening drive. If
Absolutely.
That happened.
Absolutely. Everybody get a turn though. Everybody get a turn. I thought that first drive was great. We fumbled the ball on the 14-yard line.
Yeah, and they weren't able to really get back on track since then.
Right, and then the defense bails us out.
Mm-hmm.
The defense bailed us out all night, with the exception of the one with the penalty with Jihaad.
Right.
And you basically gifted them the ball on the 6-yard line.
Yeah.
So again, the defense is paying their end of the rent. And we got another stud on defense. But to your point about the energies, the offense they have to start matching the energy of the defense. Yeah. They have to. Because we have to be in a situation where we can at least keep the defense off the field for a good measure of time. And it doesn't look like we can do that sometimes. For me, consistency is the key. The closer you get to the playoffs, you got to be consistent because the teams continue to get better.
What's your thoughts on this? Tiffany Simpson just posted this. What's your thoughts on this? She said, and thank you, Tiffany, for contributing to the show. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Subscribe to Pro Fan Talk and also subscribe to Chalk It Up Sports. We appreciate the love and the support. Tiffany Simpson here in the chat. She says, I feel like this win showed us that we can do it any way possible. What's your thoughts on that statement? Because it kind of falls in line with the Jalen Hurts mantra: win by any means, win by any means necessary. The win is the only thing that matters, all that kind of stuff. And even Jalen Hurts said, once you get into the playoffs, we're not worried about stats. The only thing they're gonna talk about is did you win the game or not.
Right.
So what's your thoughts on Tiffany's perspective here? Again, she says, I feel like this win showed us that we can do it any way possible. Shout out to Tiffany.
Tiff, I agree with you. My only pushback is we knew that. We said the same thing last year.
Yeah.
We said the same thing early this year. I don't want to have to do it, though. I still want to be able to dominate other teams.
Yeah.
And we haven't. We've only done that twice. Technically once. The Giants game, and then what was the game before that? Minnesota? But Minnesota, we still couldn't run the ball. The Giants was the only game, in my opinion, where everything was working.
Right.
Everything was working. So I just want to see more from the offense. And I use that word competence because I see it so much from other teams, but every team but ours. And I'm like, we got too many good players for this not to happen like this. I'm being realistic about it. I do expect I don't expect us to just beast on everybody. Right. That's not realistic. But we should be able to get our number one receiver the ball. We should be able to take our number one running back and run him the hell outside.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, we don't do it. And I need answers before it bites us in the ass. That's what I need.
Yeah. I think for me, the most egregious thing for me from this game, it's just the lack of AJ Brown production. And
it ain't his fault.
You can't sit here. You can't sit here and just think AJ Brown is going to be okay with just. I mean, he had a spectacular block on the Saquon Barkley 41-yard reception. Fantastic block, and he pushed that dude clear out the way.
He does what he's supposed to do.
But like he's out there blocking. He's doing what do you expect him to do? He's out there just running laps. Like he's doing suicides.
Reciprocity, man.
Like and I'm sorry if I'm him, I can't just be okay with how things are going. I can't like you can't sit here and tell me to just be okay with winning when he was outside of he got targeted twice on the opening drive and that was it.
Bruh.
I'm not even counting that BS because if he catches it, we're singing a different tune, but still it's just a
Joe Flacco.
I don't understand.
Got traded to the Cincinnati Bengals, didn't know the offense, and decided the only thing I'm gonna do is throw the ball to Jamar Chase. And everybody knew he was gonna do it. And he still did it.
So was Jalen
fault the ball to AJ Brown?
Is Jalen fault then?
Yes.
I mean, there's no other way to put it, right? I mean, can we say defenses are keen on the AJ? But no, defense is keen on other guys too. Justin Jefferson, all those guys. They still find ways to get their production. Like, and Smitty is having an amazing season. I mean,
he is.
There was games where Smitty got the shit into the stick and AJ was just feasting. There was plenty of games like that. But AJ's lack of involvement is way more glaring than anything Smitty's experienced in his team. Like this is just
we've done it before.
It's weird to me. I don't understand how all of a sudden we forget how to feed AJ Brown. I don't understand it.
And we've done it before. And isn't this still Sirianni's offense?
I don't get it. 24 Birds says here, is it a good idea? Thank you for the super chat, 24 Birds, $9.99 donation. Thank you. He says, is it a good idea to keep putting Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson, and Cam Jurgens back in these games when they get injured? The backup O-lineman needs to develop, and the starters need to get healthy for the late season and playoffs. Here's the thing, 24 Birds, because I understand your logic, but when you got a $50 million plus quarterback back there, you want your best guys out there, come hell or high water. Now, if they can't play, you don't put them out there. But it's the reason why they don't play the starting quarterback behind the backup offensive lineman in the preseason. You know what I mean? They rather take their chances on a 70%, 80% Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens combination than have him be behind Brett Toth, Matt Pryor, and Fred Johnson for 2 or 3 consecutive games.
But
it's just the truth.
Put Lumpkin in at center.
Oh, yeah, that kid, from the Rams, right?
See what you got. He might be a diamond in the rough.
You went and got him. You went and got him.
Got him.
That's another thing. Like, you went and got him. Find out what's up with him.
Put him in the heat.
Yeah, man. Shout out to 24 Birds with the $9.99 donation, man. I appreciate you. Sweet Chin Music, also known as TDK2343 with a super chat as well. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. He says here, the offense still has no identity 9 games in.
You're right.
Here's my slight pushback on that. Slight. Watching this game, I felt like they tried to lean into it. They were running the ball. Like, they ran the ball 34 times compared to 26 pass attempts. Like, they were trying to get the run game of golf. They were using the play action. We saw Saquon Barkley lined up in the fullback position. That
was a good play.
Yeah, it was a good
yardage.
Play.
That was a good play.
That was a very good play.
That was a little trap.
That was
good design. Yeah, good play.
I felt like they were trying to ignite the identity all game long. They never got away from running the ball. They never got away from using the play action or the RPOs. They never got away from it. So I don't think identity was an issue today. Maybe lack of execution because Jalen Hurts, I don't know how he missed Grant Calcaterra up the seam. What was that, cover 2 or was that quarters? Because he split the safeties. He's wide open. But the ball hung a little too high. Because if he hits Calcaterra in stride, that's a touchdown.
Touchdown.
But then he found Smitty on the deep ball. So clearly he can hit these guys. He can hit the deep ball, but something was a little off this week. And defense clearly benefited from the bye way more than the offense did. because the offense was humming. Then they got that bye week, and now they got cold again. So, but defense, this bye, they took. I think they took it up a notch. This is probably one of the best defensive. This is probably the best defensive performance of the year.
I wouldn't argue. I would not argue. You got to get him some help. I don't want to see Jalen Hurts beasting on the damn New York Giants, but when you come to a real defense with a real team, all of a sudden you on a struggle bus.
Yeah, I get
Come on, son.
I get it. It's
But Tone, I gotta bow out, bro.
No, for sure, my man. Listen, it's always good chatting with you, my guy. You know how we give it up. We were. I know our week is a little thrown off because of the Monday night game, but we rocking tomorrow.
Yeah. We can do that tomorrow. Your boy rated me again, Tony Grossi.
Oh yeah, bet.
Yeah, he came through. I was ready for him today.
That's love.
That was pretty fun, man. So
that's love, man. Shout out.
All right, let me go sleep on this thing, man. Because
for sure, man. Get some rest. I know you gotta get up in the morning, big dog. So I'll talk to you. As always, love, my man.
All right, brother. I appreciate you.
All right. Shout out to my man, Coach Marcus, man. Always doing fantastic work covering the Philadelphia Eagles, man. He came in, gave us a lot of things to to talk about. He gave you guys his perspective as well. Let me get to the super chat here. 24 Birds with another super chat, $4.99 to be exact. Thank you, 24 Birds. He says it's almost like they freezing AJ out these games on purpose, like they want him to demand a trade. It does look crazy. It does look crazy, bro. And I don't understand it. I really don't get it. Why is it so difficult to get AJ Brown the ball? Why is it so difficult? I know teams are keying in on him. I get it, but nah, it can't just be that. And also, I'm not willing to say it's Jalen Hurts all the way. I know I said Jalen Hurts is the problem earlier, but I was kind of saying that in a way like, well, what else could it be? You know what I mean? But it's like I've seen Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown have one of the best connections we've seen in Eagles history. I've seen AJ Brown dominate in this offense with this quarterback. So excuse me if it's difficult for me to just throw Jalen Hurts under the bus entirely for this. It's difficult for me to do that when I have so much data to back up that Jalen Hurts knows how to use AJ Brown. There's legit data to back that up. That Jalen Hurts has no problem getting AJ Brown the ball. So much so, in 2023, remember when everybody was criticizing Jalen Hurts saying he was an AJ Brown merchant? They were saying that all he do is feed AJ Brown. They were saying that Jalen Hurts, he can't find anybody else. He's always locked in on AJ Brown. Remember that? Remember the 2023 season where they told when they told us AJ Brown, the Eagles are AJ Brown or bust. And I don't know if Jalen Hurts has been trying to prove that's not the case. I don't know if he's trying to expand his vision and see the entire field. I just feel like a guy like AJ Brown, I don't care what anybody say. I'm getting him the ball. I'm going to get AJ Brown the ball. I don't care what anybody says. But this just seems like a season where Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert are benefiting more from this offense. And a guy like AJ Brown is scheme. He's not scheme dependent. You could put AJ Brown in any offense and he's gonna get his. That's why I'm having a hard time understanding what's going on. And even if Smitty is benefiting this season, right, Juan? Even if this is Smitty's season, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown should still be more included than 2 targets for 12 yards or 13 yards. 3 targets, 2 catches, 13 yards. AJ Brown is better than that. So if AJ Brown, I never was mad at what AJ Brown said. I never was mad. But I will say this though, like there is clearly something up there. I've seen Jalen Hurts getting AJ Brown the ball, no problem. We have 3 seasons to back that shit up. 2022, 2023, and 2024. Even when people were saying they had issues last year, we still saw AJ Brown still had a 1,000-yard season. Remember, AJ Brown missed 4 games last year, and he had over 1,000 yards receiving in 13 games. One can argue he probably would have eclipsed 1,400 yards if he was healthy all year long. You know, it does rack my brain. It racks my brain. And Jalen Hurts is not the kind of guy to put his personal feelings above winning. He's never come off as that guy. So I can't sit here and say, or I don't want to sit here and assume Jalen Hurts is icing AJ Brown out of a game. I don't think that's the case. Why I say that, though, brings up an interesting point. He says AJ has done what he's done in the run-first offense. That's another thing that's remarkable about it. AJ Brown has been one of the most productive receivers in football, and he's been in a run-first offense his entire career, especially with the Eagles. He has 2 seasons back to back where he has over 1,400 yards receiving, has almost 1,500 yards receiving. Then he had the 1,000-yard season in 2024 after missing 4 games. Still had a lot of touchdowns. This year, it's not looking good for A.J. Brown statistically. It's not looking good for A.J. Brown statistically. 8 games, 29 catches on 51 targets, 395 yards receiving, averaging over 13 yards of reception, only 3 touchdowns. Smitty, on the other hand, on the season, Smitty has 44 catches on 55 targets, 588 yards receiving, averaging over 13 yards of reception, 2 touchdowns. So Smitty not having his best touchdown season, but his yards, he's doing pretty well yardage-wise. From a stat projection standpoint, Smitty is projected to have over 1,200 yards receiving. And A.J. Brown, on the other hand, is projected to have 839 yards receiving. That is not good for A.J. Brown. Not good. You know what's so crazy? People aren't even going to talk about the Eagles beating the Packers. They're going to make it about A.J. Brown. They're going to make it about the Eagles offense being slow starting once again. But I think the defense deserves their day in the sun. I think the Eagles defense deserves to be talked about this week. Even though the offense did what they did, I think the Eagles defense deserves their flowers this week. And I think that's the only thing that should be discussed. That trade for Jalen Phillips paid dividends. Paid dividends. You saw it tonight. Dagger81 says, let's not act like we didn't know KP wasn't going to be an issue coming into the season now. This might just be one of the downsides of a first-time OC and play caller. Yeah, man. It's possible. I'll be honest, though. Excuse me. I'll be honest with you. I expected more from KP, though. I'm going to be totally honest. I expected way more from KP. Let me get to the super chat. My man, 24 Birds, is showing me love tonight. Thank you, 24 Birds. He says, I don't think it's all Jalen. It might be coming from coaches and management to limit AJ's targets and Jalen just carrying it out. What else could it be? That just sounds so counterintuitive and counterproductive. You know, I don't want to venture into conspiracy land. Like, I don't want to venture into conspiracy theory land. But A.J. Brown's lack of production has to be investigated. Has to be investigated, man. Has to be investigated. Shout out to my man 24 Birds for donating to the channel again. All right, let's see where we are here. We've been live for over an hour. Again, I know all the concern is on the offensive side of the ball, but I don't want to leave this live stream not discussing this defense. I mean, you held Josh Jacobs under 100 yards. You held them to only 3 yards a carry. The longest run of the day you gave up was 12 yards to Jordan Love. You didn't let Jordan Love hurt you. Jordan Love averaged less than 5 yards an attempt, right? Jordan Love in his game. Let's do some quick math real quick. 20 divided by 36. Jordan Love completed 55% of his passes or 56% of his passes. Jalen Hurts completed 57 or 58% of his passes, 57.6% of his passes. So this wasn't a game by either quarterback that was super stellar, but this came down to the quarterback that made one more play or that didn't make the bad play and made the good one. You know what I mean? You know, I just feel like this Eagles team, through the concerns, we knew this season wasn't going to look like the last one. We knew it was going to be a little different. It's all a test. It's all a test, you guys. It's all a test, man. I think this Eagles team is going to get. I think this Eagles team is going to get hot at the exact right time. I'm not pulling the plug. I'm not, and I'm not leaving this stream without showing love to this defense. Jalen Phillips had a phenomenal game. Zack Baun, 8 total tackles, 5 solo. Nakobe Dean, 7 total tackles, 6 solo, a sack, and a TFL with a quarterback hit. Reed Blankenship, 7 total tackles, 2 solo. Jalen Phillips, 6 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 TFL, fumble recovery, and 2 quarterback hits. Jalix Hunt, 5 total tackles, 5 solo, 1 sack, 2 TFLs. Jalix Hunt had a real big pickup and run defense as well. 2 TFLs, 1 quarterback hit. Cooper DeJean, who got called for 2 holding penalties tonight. Didn't have his best day, but he got called for 2 holding penalties. Nonetheless, Cooper DeJean, 5 total tackles, 4 solo. Jihaad Campbell, 5 total tackles, 2 solo. Got called for a PI, a crucial one. Adoree Jackson, 3 total tackles, 3 solo, 1 pass deflection. He had a big tackle. Setting up, I think, 3rd and short or 4th and short, something like that. Jalen Carter, 3 tackles, 2 solo, 2 pass deflections at the line of scrimmage. Jordan Davis, 3 total tackles. Nolan Smith, 2 total tackles, 2 solo, 1 sack, and 2 quarterback hits. Quinyon Mitchell, 2 pass deflections on the game. Like, I want to give this defense their flowers. Man. They had a great day. You held Green Bay. Offense, by the way. Green Bay is a team on the season that's averaging, make sure I got this right here. Prior to this game, I want to say Green Bay was averaging like 26 points a game. Let me double check this. Make sure I got this right here. I think these stats are reflecting tonight's game. I'm trying to see. Let me just look at these points. Let me just not even make it complicated for myself. I'm looking at Green Bay schedule, right? They put up 27 on Detroit, 27 on Washington. They was held to 10 points by Cleveland, but they put up 40 on Dallas, 27 on Cincinnati, 27 on Arizona, 35 on Pittsburgh. And then they only put up 13 points against Carolina, and you held them to 7 points at home. Back-to-back losses for the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. Back-to-back losses. And you held them to their lowest scoring output of the season. Big deal for the Eagles defense. Big deal. That's a big deal for the Eagles defense. You held the Green Bay Packers. To their lowest scoring output of the season. Darnell Williams with the super chat. Thank you, Darnell. Appreciate you, big dog. Thank you. He says, man, haters are dangerous. They're trying to scapegoat Jalen Hurts and remove blame from Patullo. They say Jalen is limited and will never be Marino. Well, fuck Marino, right? Darnell, quick question, bro. You look familiar, man. You look familiar as hell, bro. Darnell, you look familiar as hell, bro. You do music? Darnell, you look like this R&B singer that I went to school with, Socio. Thank you for the super chat, Darnell. I really do appreciate you, bro. I'm not ready to throw Jalen Hurts under the bus. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that personally. But again, this defense had a phenomenal day. And I really think that when the time comes, I think the Eagles will get hot at the right time offensively. I really, really do. I really believe that they're going to get hot at the right time because football is a game. Football is a game of trends. It's a game of, how they say basketball is a game of runs, which it is. Football, you just gotta you do the heavy lifting in the regular season, right? But once those playoffs start, or maybe a game or two before the playoffs, you just gotta get hot at the right time. Gotta get hot at the right time. It's funny. Week 10 started with a 10-7 game from the Denver Broncos and the Raiders, and it ended with a 10-7 game between the Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, it's weird. Let me see. The Internet Wizard Society says, nah, those stats ain't it. This Green Bay offense is weak, led by Dontavius Wicks. He says, who? If you're hype about this, you're going to be stunned by Detroit next week. I think Detroit's going to be stunned by our defense. That's what I think. And again, I'm not absolving the offense from the day they had today. It wasn't a good day for them by any stretch of the imagination. But I look at Detroit and I'm like, all right, yeah, Detroit can put up points. They can put up points. But can they do that against the Philadelphia Eagles on the road? As a matter of fact, let me check out what Detroit is doing from a points perspective on the road. Let me see what Detroit's doing on the road. Let me see. Stats, team stats. Let's find out what Detroit is doing on the road. Points per game. All right. Okay, so Detroit is scoring no matter where they at. Detroit is averaging 33.5 points at home and 29.8 points on the road. So, hey, listen, man. They're scoring. The Colts averaging a lot of points. Detroit, Seattle, Dallas, Rams, Buffalo. You know what I mean? Look, Detroit is going to make us work, but I'm sorry, man. I'm not ready to crown Detroit. Fuck Detroit. Sorry. like, man, forget Detroit. Y'all not gonna have me in. Y'all not gonna be in my stream trying to get me nervous. I'm not worried about Detroit. Detroit is a good team. Don't get it twisted though. It's gonna be a game that everybody's gonna be up for. Don't get it twisted. Like Detroit is a good team. Let's not get it twisted. But I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Remember, Detroit got to play us. Remember that. It's not just one-sided. Detroit got to come to Philly. And they got to win on the road. Keep that in mind. They got to come to Philly and win on the road. Just how we won at Lambeau. So I'm sorry. I'm not drinking the Detroit Kool-Aid. And my man Juan says Detroit plays man at a top 5 clip. If they think they're going to come in Philly and play man all night, they got another thing coming. They got another thing coming if they're going to try to play man all night. So, we'll see how this thing turn out. But overall, man, look, you got the win in a tough environment. 17-degree, 10-degree weather in Green Bay. You won the game. You know what I'm saying? You got a big win over a big opponent. A big win over. Keep that in mind. This was a crucial win against a crucial opponent that you may see again. I want y'all to keep this in mind, even through your criticisms. Understand the gravity of this victory and understand the gravity of a victory over Detroit and what it would mean. You own the tiebreaker over Los Angeles. You own the tiebreaker over Tampa Bay. You own the tiebreaker over Green Bay. You beat Detroit, you own the tiebreaker over 4 of the 5 teams that's likely in your way in the conference. You don't play Seattle this year. So you're not going to be able to get a tiebreaker over them. But Seattle's in the NFC West. And the NFC West has been competitive. And they are going to cannibalize each other. The NFC West has Seattle, Los Angeles, Arizona, who plays hard, and Seattle, San Fran, Rams, Cardinals. Yeah, that division is going to cannibalize each other. And on the season, what's the Eagles' record against these teams, these playoff teams? Because at the end of the day, you got to be playoff teams. Eagles beat the Chiefs, playoff team. Eagles beat the Rams, playoff team. Eagles beat the Bucks, playoff team. Eagles beat the Vikings, playoff team. Eagles beat Green Bay, playoff team. The Eagles are 5-1 on the season against playoff teams. They lost to the Broncos. So, like, there's an art to this thing. There is a skill in knowing how to win these games. There's a mental fortitude that the Eagles have and other teams lack. I know some of y'all feel like, yo, Tone, you spinning the shit out of this. I know some of y'all at home saying to yourself, hey, yo, Tone, I hear you, bro. You spinning the shit out of this. And guess what? My job, the way I see it, is not only to call it how I see it, but also find the angle. Find something that we can latch on to. Find something that we can say, you know what? Hey, Tone, you may got a point. Maybe all isn't lost. Nick Sirianni is undefeated coming out of a bye, which to me makes me want that number 1 seed that much more. I want that number 1 seed that much more because I know the Philadelphia Eagles get busy out of a bye week. I know they could win that game. That's what the trends say. I'm telling y'all, if the Eagles get the number 1 seed, they're going to the Super Bowl. I'm telling you this. If the Eagles get the number 1 seed, they're going to the Super Bowl. And I'm telling y'all, some of the hardest opponents are out the way. Rams, Tampa Bay. You already beat Dallas once. You beat Green Bay. You beat the Chiefs. Eagles play Detroit Lions Sunday night in primetime. Big game. 2 primetime games back-to-back weeks. I'm telling y'all, if the Eagles get the number 1 seed, they're going back to the Super Bowl. I promise you that. Sweet Chin Music says the Colts are not going to the Super Bowl. Juan says Colts versus the Eagles look promising. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I love what the Colts are doing, and Jonathan Taylor is having an amazing season. He is. I don't think they their playoffs is a different beast, man. It's a different energy. Now I will say this: the way the Colts play offensively, it travels, and their defense is playing well. They're a good football team. But I look at Daniel Jones and I say to myself, do I trust Daniel Jones in the playoffs? Do I trust Daniel Jones in the playoffs? You know what I'm saying? I don't think the Colts. I could see the Colts winning a playoff game. Matter of fact, I put it this way: if the Colts very well could get a first round bye. It's entirely possible. Let me look at these standings right here. So the Colts right now, they're 8-2. Eagles are 7-2. Let me see. And as of right now, the Eagles own the tiebreaker over the Seahawks because they have a better record in conference games. So the Eagles need to continue to win their conference matchups for sure. And because you don't want to lose the first seed to Seattle because they have a better conference record than you. As of right now, the Eagles are 6-1 in the conference, and the Seattle Seahawks are 4-2. Also, the Eagles have a better strength of schedule, and they have a better strength of victory. So there's a few categories the Eagles have the Seahawks beat in. Let me look at the Colts schedule coming up. Who they got? Because the Colts' strength of victory is only at a 3.73. They beat the Dolphins, bad team. They beat the Broncos, okay. They beat the Titans, bad team. Lost to the Rams. They beat the Raiders, bad team. Beat the Cardinals, bad team. They beat the Chargers, who I think are pretenders. They beat the Titans again, bad team. They lost to the Steelers, who I think is a team that's very Jekyll and Hyde. They beat the Falcons, bad team. So they've been the Colts. The Colts have been feasting on bad teams, and the Colts have had what I would call a cupcake schedule. Remaining, they got to go on the road against the Chiefs, who's playing well. They still got to play the Texans twice. They still got to play the Jags twice. And they got to play Seattle and the 49ers. I'm telling you this. The Colts are going to come down to earth. Check this out. Look at this. Check this out. Look at this schedule. This is the Colts schedule, y'all. Check this out. All right. Let's zoom in on this thing. As of right now, we're looking at the Colts' remaining schedule. This is the Indianapolis Colts' remaining schedule. They got to go on the road against KC. They still got to play Houston twice. Still got to play the Jags twice, and they got to play Seattle and San Fran. Their schedule is backloaded. They're backloaded. I think the Colts are going to come down to earth. I think they're going to come back down to earth. KC is not going to be an easy game. Both those Houston matchups aren't going to be easy. They play them tough. Both the Jacksonville games not going to be easy. And they got Seattle and San Fran. I think the Colts are going to come back down to earth. The first half of that schedule was cupcake. The second half, now they're going to get some good teams, some better teams. But as of right now, this is your standings in the NFC. The Philadelphia Eagles are 7-2. The Seattle Seahawks are 7-2. The Detroit Lions are 6-3. Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall to 6-3. The Los Angeles Rams are 7-2. The Chicago Bears 6-3. Green Bay Packers 5-3. And you got the San Francisco 49ers who are peaking in at 6-4. Carolina's 5-5. So honestly, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this remaining. I'm looking at these standings right now for the playoffs. And Seattle and the Rams, this is going to come down. This is going to come down to it in the end, man. Sheesh. Sheesh. If this goes the way I expect, the Eagles are going to either end up playing the Packers, the Bears, or the Rams in the first round. That's really or Tampa Bay. Because right now, if the playoffs started today, Seattle Seahawks would play the Packers in the first round. Detroit would play Chicago in the first round. And Tampa Bay would play the Rams. If Green Bay beat Seattle, the Eagles would play Green Bay in the divisional round. If Chicago beat Detroit and Seattle beat Green Bay, Eagles play Chicago in the divisional round. If the Rams beat the Bucks, but Seattle and Detroit win, Eagles play the Rams in the first round. If Tampa Bay beats the Rams and Detroit and Seattle beat their teams, Eagles will play Tampa Bay in the first round. So the Eagles can end up with either Tampa Bay, Los Angeles, Chicago, or Green Bay in the first round. Well, I'm sorry, in the divisional round, excuse me, in the divisional round. If everything holds true and the Eagles get the number one seed, if this holds true, the Eagles can end up facing either Tampa Bay, Los Angeles, Chicago, or Green Bay in the divisional round. And they would have to come to Philly. And honestly, I trust the Eagles in Philadelphia against all these teams. I do. I trust the Eagles in Philadelphia against all these teams. Anyway, that is our show for tonight, you guys. I really do appreciate the love and the support. We've been live for way longer than I thought we would be, but nonetheless, make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I really do appreciate the love and the support. You guys are fantastic as always. Your Philadelphia Eagles have improved to 7-2 on the NFL season. We're 9 games in, 8 games left. Your Eagles are 7-2, and they're the number one seed in the conference, and they have the number one record in their division. So, Eagles fans, for all our concerns, and they are real, your team is 7-2, and they're beating good teams. It's not looking the way we want it to look. I'm with y'all. It's not looking the way we want it to look. But they're beating good teams. They're beating good teams in their conference. They're dominating their division. The defense is playing lights out, and I think they're going to get better. I think this offense, they just got to get hot at the right time. I'm telling y'all this. If our issues were flipped, if our issues were on defense and not offense, then I would not have any confidence in this season, because defense travels. Defense travels. That's the thing we got to keep in mind. Defense travels. So I'm going to continue to try to be as optimistic as I can while still trying to call it out how I see it. The Eagles offense did not have their best day tonight. They did not. But Eagles defense played phenomenally. Jalen Phillips stole the show. Jalix Hunt got a sack. Nolan Smith got a sack in his first game back. Nakobe Dean got a sack. So I think this defense is trending up. I told y'all I felt like the defensive line was trending up, and so far, so good. But keep in mind, your Eagles are 7-2, number one record in their conference, number one record in the division. And their defense is playing well. and you just beat a Green Bay Packers team on the road at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. 10 degree weather, maybe lower than that. And you won a knuckle dragger. That felt like a playoff game to an extent. And the Eagles are always ready for those kind of games. And that's to show you guys. Again, make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you guys hit the hype button as well. Subscribe to Chalk It Up Sports. And also make sure you guys turn the notification bell on as well. I've been your humble host, Tone DeShields II. And you guys have been locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game.